New year, new you. Tango Gameworks reborn as Tango Gameworks Incorporated. The Hi-Fi Rush maker has entered a new era under the ownership of Krafton. The main thing to understand about this is, for the life of me, I cannot understand why Microsoft decided to get rid of Tango. In a year, where Microsoft was talking about how they wanted smaller developers making, games like what Hi-Fi Rush was. And Hi-Fi Rush was literally one of, if not the best game they came out with in 2023. And then they shut down Tango. And Tango has been a good developer. We're talking about the Evil Within games. What was it? Ghostwire Tokyo, Hi-Fi Rush after that. They've been a good developer. And then Microsoft just shuts them down. And everybody's going, wait, what? When it didn't make any sense. They'd had so many developers make bad games that are still a part of what they do. And then, they've got Tango that... And, who knows what was going on internally, but it just, from the outside looking in, made no sense at all. And from everything that Microsoft and Xbox were saying about the kinds of developers they wanted, the kind of games they wanted to develop, Tango was it. And then they got rid of them. And what was weird, in between Krafton swooping them up and then being let go by Microsoft, I was talking about, like, why did Microsoft not at least try to sell them off? Because they are a good developer and they could have gotten something out of them, right? But it was beyond me. I didn't really understand it, as many of us didn't. And then basically what happened was Krafton did swoop in. They grabbed Tango as a developer. They're putting them back to work. The problem being the developers that were part of Tango whenever the studio was shut down, it's only about half of them left now. Because when Microsoft shut down Tango, they all thought that it was just done. Nobody was, they weren't being sold off. They were being shuttered. So, like, half of the developers that worked there just left and looked for other work. And so, again, and the original creative mind that started Tango in the first place is not a part of that studio anymore either. He wasn't before that took place. He had moved on and started a new studio himself. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but they were still doing good stuff. Again, I think that what you have to understand here is this might not be the same Tango we had before, because they're only going to be half of who they were developer-wise, personnel-wise. So we have to take this with a grain of salt a little bit, I think. Yeah, so the PUBG maker Krafton has given the Hi-Fi Rush creator a new lease on life. Tango Gameworks has officially relaunched as Tango Gameworks Incorporated under the stewardship of new parent company Krafton. Excited to continue crafting games that bring joy to players around the world. Read the post on Twitter. Thank you for your continued support as we embark on this new journey. It's a moment that marks a fresh start for the studio. Tango was shuttered by former owner Microsoft in May amid layoffs and closures at the Xbox maker, which also resulted in the demise of Alpha Dog Games and Arcane Austin. Tango was deemed Tango was deemed surplus to requirements by the company despite launching Hi-Fi Rush a year earlier. The title was called a breakout hit by one Xbox executive, but that couldn't save the studio from closure. It was, however, granted a second chance by PUBG maker Krafton, which acquired the Japanese company from Microsoft in August of last year. I have to say that now. Months after Tango looked dead in the water. At the time, Krafton said it intended to maintain continuity at Tango Gameworks, allowing the talented team to continue developing the Hi-Fi Rush IP and explore future projects. Speaking to game developer about the acquisition a few weeks later, Krafton CEO Chang-Han Kim said the move was about preserving the legacy of Tango Gameworks and described it as a last-minute deal. Kim acknowledged that projects like Hi-Fi Rush might not rake in cash, but suggested studios like Tango should be encouraged to experiment with new ideas regardless. Look, man, I think that I talk all the time about how rough it is to see studios get stuck in a rut of only being able to make one kind of game. And I will even admit that whenever I saw Hi-Fi Rush get announced and it wasn't Evil Within 3, I was really turned off because I love the Evil Within series so much, and they had already done Ghostwire Tokyo in between, and I was really hoping that they were working on Evil Within 3. And then when Hi-Fi Rush got announced, I was a little bit blinded by what it could have been, due to the fact that I was just saddened by the fact it wasn't what I wanted it to be. But I played it. It was incredible. It was amazing. And this is what I always want to see developers do. I want to see the versatility in developers. I want to see them be able to do more than one thing, right? It's a great thing to see developers be able to kind of branch out and show that they've got a skill set beyond what they're known for, right? And I feel like this is something that's lost on us quite often anymore. I mean, not totally. You know, we got a lot of good developers out there that are still great at showcasing their range and skills at being able to do different stuff, but quite often we get studios that are stuck in just doing the same thing over and over, the same franchises over and over, and they don't change them, they don't evolve them, you know, stuff like that. So it was so weird to me to see Microsoft shutter this studio. Krafton acquired Hi-Fi Rush franchise alongside Tango, and a sequel is very much on the cards, discussing how Tango would look under Krafton. Kim claimed the studio would look to hire a minimum of 100 people, including many former employees, if possible. Right, it depends. Dude's so stupid for this. It didn't make any sense. You know, of the studios they have that are creating great games right now, Tango was one of them, and they just shut them down. I don't understand it. Again, I mean, you know, I'm not internal to their process and what they're doing and what they're seeing and everything, but god dang, from the outside in, it seemed like a really stupid move. And I'm not the only one. Most people I talked to were like, yeah, this makes no sense, right? Again, this right here, they needed to hire people because so many people left. They got shuttered before they were picked back up by Krafton. So many people were like out of a job. They had to go find new work. And so they wanted to hire people that had left, but you know, it depends on how viable that is for those people that had maybe already gone out and found new work at other developers, right? Perhaps they'll need a bigger team. We haven't decided on that, but we don't plan to reduce the size of the team at all. They have to work on new projects as well, so there is a great possibility the team will scale up even further. We'll see what happens. I hope that we get the same quality of products that we once had from Tango. It's terrible to see, you know, amidst the state of the industry right now, right? I mean, where we get so many studio closures, terrible games, you know, on the constant. Not that we don't have banger games too. We've had a lot of good games the past couple of years, but we've had a lot of terrible games too, and we saw them coming, right? You know, I mean, and it's resulted in studios closing down and stuff like that. And then you have a studio that's doing great things, and they get closed, and it's like just mind blowing. Where does it end? Where does it stop? You know. Microsoft not known for making good decisions. Absolutely right, Volt. Absolutely right. I really hope to see Tango do great stuff moving forward. I really do.